Hey, what's going on, guys? Let's take a look at another volume of Gundam Converge here. This is another 10 box, and this is volume 26 of the Gundam Converge line, featuring some really cool mobile suits. We've got a Gundam Zaku, Gym Cannons, and some Seed Gundams in here as well, including the Eclipse and the Infinite Justice Type 2 there from the Seed Freedom movie. So we've seen a couple of Seed Freedom releases in the line out so far, so this is going to be the latest one. The Gundam and the Zaku specifically are the Cucuruz Doan's Islands version, so you'll see the Zaku is the one that has like a little bit more kind of damage on it, has the droopy snoot. I'm not really sure exactly what's going to be too different about the Gundam. It does have the inverted shield position there, and I'm guessing the coloration is going to be maybe a little bit different too, but it's the origin design there of the Gundam, which is always really cool. And then, like I said, yeah, we got the Gym Cannons, both the original coloration and the red head version, or I think it's like the Jabro defense version there, which was the color scheme that I used for my custom HG build of that. So as always, with this being a set of 10, we are going to have some doubles in here, with there already being 2 versions of the Gym, probably going to have 1 of each of those. So maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like that would be my guess. Let's pop it open and see. And interestingly, it looks like I was wrong. We've actually got 3 of the Gyms and only 1 of the Justice. So 2 of the regular Gym Cannons, 1 of the Redhead type, 1 of the Justice, 2 of the Eclipse, 2 of the Zaku, and 2 of the Gundam. So that's kind of interesting. But I mean, considering that that's a grunt, kind of cool to have more grunt units. And if that has options, that might be kind of cool as well, but I don't believe that it does. So I think it's just only got the beam spray gun for its handheld weapon option. But let's start off going in numerical order here, starting off with the Gundam. This one might have some options. Let's see. So as we can see here on the box, you can see this is the RX-78-2 Gundam Cucuruz Doan's Islands version. Like I said, it's got the inverted shield position and just kind of pretty standard Gundam coloring on there, but it's definitely not having that kind of like minty white. Looks more like kind of a pure white color on this. And a couple of design elements here that indicate this is like the origin version. The RX-78-02 there, to be specific there. It's kind of how you can tell. But really cool box art here on there as always. This QR code basically will give you some instructions for the assembly of these if you need. Kind of unnecessary. But if you look on the back, okay, so here it is, something cool. We are going to have the option of some beam sabers. So I'm not sure if we're going to have 2 included in this box. Possibly, but I guess we'll have to open it up and find out. On the outside of the box, nothing really too much else to know other than that, but you do have some more information over here, which is kind of cool there in Japanese. And of course, inside, once we get this opened up, we'll be greeted with our Bandai chewing gum. Someone was asking before in another video, what's the flavor of the gum? I don't really know how to describe it. It's just kind of sugary gum. I don't know, it doesn't really have like a flavor like mint or bubblegum or something like that necessarily, but it looks like we are going to have 2 beam sabers in there. It's pretty cool. There's the shield. Then over here in this bag, we've got the Gundam, the beam saber handles for on the backpack, the base, the V-fin, the beam rifle, and the holding hand there. So let's get this put together. All right, so here it is all put together. A couple things that I want to show you here. I like to show you guys the underside of the feet because I know some of you are into that, but it's just really cool. They have like that full detail on the underside there, but this is just going to attach via that peg right here onto the base plate. It ends up definitely looking really cool here because those beam saber parts were on that little runner there you saw. Where those are cut off from the runner, you do have these black spots where those just didn't get paint on them from the process. So touching those up with a little bit of white paint would definitely help, but I mean, it's not too noticeable. But the eyes being in that clear yellow look really nice. There's a lot of really nice detail here in the white sections that would definitely be improved by adding some panel lining in here. So get some like gray panel line fluid for the white parts and some brown for the red and yellow parts, some black for the blue parts, and you'll be good to go panel lining this up. If you do want to panel line this, I would recommend giving it a gloss coat first. Then you can go in with like your Tamiya accent color panel line fluid on this, and then again you can just, after putting maybe some decals on there too, you can spray some matte top coat over the finished product, and it really improves the look of these. But I mean, it looks great here out of the box. The pre-printing all looks good. Not seeing any kind of spots where the painting doesn't look right or the molding doesn't look right. I am seeing like on the forearms, the mold line is like particularly noticeable, and over there on that arm too. So pretty bad, like a flash just on the mold line there on the forearm, unfortunately, but that's going to be not too noticeable there as well. And then yeah, we've got our option parts of the 2 beam sabers. So these look really nice with the clear pink beam effect and then just the squared handles there. That's just so these will fit in the hands. And so when you're doing doing that, basically you're going to swap the beam rifle, and then for the left hand you can swap out this closed fist for a holding hand here to hold on to the beam saber, and for the backpack you're going to just remove these parts here, and it removes kind of this whole part off the side, and then we have just these dummy parts here, which you'll plug in place that will give it the effect of making the backpack look like it doesn't have beam saber handles plugged into there, right? So some really nice option parts here for the Gundam. And that's why it's nice in these sets when we do have option parts to have two of them. So you can display one with a beam rifle and one with the beam swords if you wanted to go that route. But all right, let's move on to 298 up next, which is going to be the Cucuruz Doan's Island Zaku 2. And it looks like we might have some options with this one here as well. I mean, just really love the look of the mobile suit here, but we've got the heat hawk on the front, and on the back, it's not showing anything else, so maybe not. I was hoping that maybe we might have the option of just the Zaku machine gun, but it looks like maybe is not going to be an option in this case, unfortunately. But I could be wrong. Once we pop this open, we'll see, but there's, once again, some information there on the back. And I mean, as we've seen with past sets, some other different Zaku Converge figures do have option parts, like the Char's Zaku 2 that came with the bazooka and the machine gun. You could always take the machine gun from that figure and give it to this one if you wanted to. You might have to do a little bit of modification to make the hand fit, although probably not. And then you might have to like repaint the part on the back of the hand to make it in the correct color. But it looks like we are only going to have the heat hawk in this case. Not bad. The figure does look really nice though, so let's go ahead and get it put together here. All right, so here it is, and yeah, definitely looks really cool. Definitely going to benefit from some panel lining and some weathering on this one for sure. It would look so cool to have some weathering on this, put a little damaged decal there on the shoulder, put some matte coat on it again once it's all said and done. We do have some options though in the fact that you can opt to have it holding nothing, as we do have closed fists for both the left and the right side. And for the heat hawk, that's a separate hand that we're just going to swap the hand entirely here. And the heat hawk's really cool just because of the fact that it has that clear orange part there for the blade. Looks really nice. Definitely this empty part here between like the main body and like this kind of pipe cord that kind of goes there like that. Cutting that out might be kind of nice. Then you would have to retouch up some of the paint and everything, but I think that would definitely improve the look of that, so you don't have just this solid mass like right there in between. But the figure looks really cool. Love the details there on that. The proportions and the design and everything on it look really, really nice. The mono-eye is movable, as is kind of usually the case for Zaku's in this line. You can just pop off the head, rotate the mono-eye like that. And again, as always, these aren't really meant to be articulated, but you can move them a little bit. Like the head will rotate a little bit side to side there like that. The arms usually rotate there, and obviously the hands you can rotate. So you could have this in like a kind of sort of pose, something like that if you wanted to. The legs are pretty much always going to be just stuck there and not movable at all, but you will have a little bit of articulation just here in the top part of the body, something like that. Anyway, this definitely looks really, really cool. Really happy with this Zaku 2 variation to add to the collection. But up next then, gonna be number 299, the Infinite Justice Gundam Type 2 here. One of my favorite HGs, if not my favorite HG from the Seed Freedom lineup for sure. So really happy to have this here in Converge form as well. Now this one, as a reminder, is one that we only have one of, but it does look like we are gonna have maybe some kind of variation in terms of just like the position of the wings for the backpack maybe, or like the position of the backpack can be adjusted a little bit differently. So we'll have to see here once we get this opened up. You know, we've got a couple more parts there on a runner once again. There we've got the shield, beam rifle, V-fin, those backpack parts, and then the main body. So it looks like maybe we can just like readjust the position of the backpack. Let's see. All right, here it is. And once again, looks really, really cool. We do have a sort of gimmick here with the backpack, which I'll show you in just a second, but just to kind of take a look around the outside here. Again, a lot of really cool details on here, which would definitely benefit from some panel lining at least, if not some detail painting for sure. The eyes we have in that clear green. The horn on the head is a little bit bent. We would have to kind of straighten that out to get it to the kind of proper straight angle instead of it being like curved like that. But that does tend to happen sometimes with these figures, unfortunately, just kind of how they're packed up. But looks really cool. We have the gun there in that dark gunmetal, and then we have this kind of regular gunmetal color there for the hands and a couple other little detail bits. The shield looks nice on there. And again, not really seeing any too serious like mold defects or painting defects, anything like that, other than just kind of that part being a little bit bent. The cannons up here on the backpack are going to have once again kind of nub marks on the top of there, similar to like what we saw on the Gundam, unfortunately. So maybe touching up the paint there a little bit would be a good idea. So for the backpack here, these wings can be rotated just up and down like that. So if you prefer to just kind of have them like that, which I think probably looks the best, and that's probably how I'll have mine displayed. But you can take these off and you'll see we have a hard point here on this side or on this side. So you can basically just reattach it into this position like that, which is what we saw on the outside of the box, which will give the effect of like the wings folded down and to the back, something like that. It's kind of cool that you can do that. I'm not really a huge fan. I'll probably just leave it like that, which I think looks pretty cool. So really nice. Number 300 then here, and this is a special one. Before we get to the gym cannons, this is has a celebratory 300 up there in the corner, and you'll notice the box art a little bit different for this one, as we've got an actual illustration of the Gundam here rather than what is typical like we usually see, which is just an image of the figure itself. This case doesn't have that. We've got this really cool illustration. Let's see on the back. Looks like we're maybe going to have just the options of like having these rifles either in hand or just attached onto the hips basically. So just kind of weird weapon storage. Here's our information there on the back side, and you can see the lineup on the back of all the boxes there. But yeah, really cool to have this artwork for the front instead of just kind of the standard imagery. Yeah, it's the 300th anniversary. So pretty awesome there for this one. I like it. Kind of would have been cool if they would have done that for this whole set rather than just only this one, seeing as how it's part of like the 300th anniversary set. I don't know, I guess it doesn't say 300th anniversary set, it just says 300th anniversary. But I mean, like, anniversary kind of makes me think of like, obviously this is going to be like the whole set. I don't know. Anyway, inside here we've got the head and this little clear part. They're packaged separately from the Gundam, the base, another V-fin part there, and some hand options it looks like. All right, yeah, and definitely pretty interesting this one. I mean, the Eclipse Gundam is just a really interesting and unique design in general. But yeah, that clear plastic part is going to be there for the feet to help it to attach to the base, because as it is, obviously with the design of these very thin, high-heeled feet that the Eclipse Gundam has, it's just not really a good way to attach it onto the base otherwise. So you have that clear part on there, and then taking a closer up look at this, aside from the clear green eyes on there, you'll also notice we have hard points on the tops of the shoulders and then here on the back as well. But with this just as it is, there's nothing that's going to actually take advantage of those spots. So pretty obvious that there is an option set for this, and I haven't paid attention to the news. There is a lot of premium Bandai stuff that comes out for the Converge series in Japan that I just don't really have access to, so I don't really follow it too closely. Although it would be great to be able to get my hands on some more of that stuff from time to time. But I'm guessing that there is a P Bandai set for this that comes with the backpack and like extra parts for this. I'm not sure if there is already or if there is going to be. I haven't seen any news about that. You guys can let me know if you've seen anything about it. But anyway, that's pretty obviously what that's for. And just really wild head design, how elongated that part there is on the top. And then obviously you have the big fins on the top of the head there as well. It's a really cool design, and again, I'm gonna sound like very much of a broken record when I talk about this in these Converge videos, but definitely going to benefit from some panel lining on all these white sections there, but a lot of great detail around on this. And as far as option parts, we basically just have the holding hands here. You can swap out these closed fists for the holding hands to be able to take these rifles from the side skirts and be able to hold them in hand. Those just pop off there like that. And so the connection peg will be a little clear part right here, which connects onto the side skirt. So I'm kind of torn whether I think that I might like these better in hand or connected onto the skirt, but we'll see how they look in just a minute. For now, let's go ahead and move on to the last couple for this set, which is going to be the Gym Cannon in our two different color versions. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything different about these other than the color. As far as I can tell, the information on the back of the box is going to be different because it is about each specific version of this Gym Cannon. But you can see on the front of the box we have the original color version and then the redhead version, which just has even more red. It kind of does away with these black sections there. It's a little bit different color red there as well, so pretty cool version. I like this version, but I mean both are pretty cool, I gotta say, and look really nice with these sort of SD sort of proportions here for the Converge series. So really like the look of these. And inside you can see how these are going to be packaged. We've got the shield, that's the cannon, and the beam spray gun there. And here's the antennas for the head, so you'll have to cut those off that little runner there, and then the base and the body, and that clear blue visor looks like it's going to be really, really nice. All right, and here they are. So yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm definitely more of a Zaku guy than a Jim guy when it comes to grunt designs from 1 Year War, but I gotta say these ones definitely being much more in the MSV kind of vein definitely appeals to my sensibilities. Really love the MSV stuff, and the coloring on these two are also really cool. So we have the shields there on the side. The coloring is going to be a little bit different on those two, just because we have the darker red on the red head type, and then the white is more of this like bluish, sort of minty green white like we see on a lot of the 1 Year War designs, but it's definitely more bluish than green. And then the clear blue parts with that silver painting underneath looks really nice for the visors. You can see the head camera is a little bit different color. It's blue here, and it's going to be red on the original standard version. Head cameras on the back side are not painted. They're unfortunately, as is typical for this line, usually on like the back side we have far less little details and things that are pre-printed, but still looks really good. A lot of really nice detail. The cannons don't move on the back. That doesn't actually rotate up and down or anything. That's just a fixed position. But again, you can rotate the head side to side a little bit here. It's going to be a bit limited by the cannon there, and of course you can raise the arm with the gun or with the shield if you wanted to, but again, very limited articulation, but really, really cool design. But so there we have the full set here for volume 26. Some nice variety in there. It's kind of basically just 1 Year War and Seed, but within that you have a mix of like the seeds, like Seed Freedom, Seed Eclipse, and then with 1 Year War, it's not just kind of your standard 1 Year War stuff. We have the Jim cannons, which are MSV, and then the Gundam and the Zaku from Cucuruz Doan's Island, sort of side stories. So some nice kind of variant kind of stuff from the 1 Year War, and a nice mix of basically 3 Gundams and 3 grunts in this set too, so really kind of gives you something for everybody, I feel like. But let me know your favorites down in the comment section below. My favorite, I think, probably gonna have to be the Zaku. Just really cool design on that one. And other than that, I think probably the Jim cannons, honestly. So I think the grunts are winning this one for me, but let me know your picks. What are your favorite or favorites in the comment section? And as always, if you guys want to check out some more Converge figures, we do occasionally have them here at USA Gundam Store. The link will be in the video description down below. You can check out what's available there. Kind of difficult to get them in for retailers in the USA, but I definitely recommend checking some out if you guys never have. They're really cool. Obviously, you guys know that I love the Converge series and always love adding some more to my collection, but another really good set. And I will also just add one last note too, that the quality on these actually is really good, like just the production quality, as I mentioned a couple times. Didn't really see anything in the way of like some painting errors or molding errors with these. So, I mean, there has been sets in the past where that has been, you know, not a huge issue, but a small issue. Maybe on a couple of them, you might notice some parts not like glued together properly, or the painting's a little off, but the quality control seems to be pretty good as of late, so that's great, and hopefully things will stay like that going into the future. But that's it for this set, guys. Thanks so much for checking out the video here today, and I will see you next time. Hope you're all having a good day. Thanks so much for all your support, leaving a like, and making sure that you're subscribed. Till next time, bye guys.